The quest to educate students in the K-12 and higher education systems during the COVID-19 pandemic continues. In today's Federal Flash, we'll cover 4 coronavirus-related issues: Secretary DeVos's recommendations on further flexibility under IDEA, federal relief for state education agencies to support K-12 schools, new competitive grant funding for states to rethink K-12 education and workforce preparation, and COVID-19's effect on FAFSA completion. Hi, I'm Lindsay Dworkin, and I'm joined by Ziyu Zhao. Let's begin with an update on IDEA flexibility. Ziyu?
The wait is over. In a report to Congress released Monday, U.S. Secretary of Education Betsy DeVos declined to request any significant waiver authority from provisions of the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, or IDEA, or Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act. While she did suggest waiving several smaller provisions related to scholarships for teacher preparation and transitions for children receiving infant and toddler services to early childhood programs, DeVos left the heart of IDEA untouched: the right of a student with a disability to a free, appropriate public education in the least restrictive environment. Our viewers may recall that the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security, or CARES Act, gave the Secretary 30 days to report whether waivers were needed under a slew of federal laws, including IDEA. This set up a showdown between special education administrators who argued flexibility was needed as they struggled to reach students with disabilities during school closures, and special education advocates, including All4Ed, who argued that waivers were unnecessary because IDEA was flexible by design. While Congress still has the final say, Secretary DeVos' recommendations are a win for advocates who were concerned that IDEA waivers would undercut students' civil rights.
In addition to its waiver provisions, the CARES Act provided over $30 billion for education, including $13.2 billion for K-12 state education agencies. Last week, the Education Department released the application for this elementary and secondary school emergency relief fund. States and school districts will receive funding based on their relative share of Title I funding in fiscal year 2019. States must distribute 90% of funds to districts, including charter schools, and may reserve up to 10% of funds to support coronavirus efforts at the state level. In a letter to chief state school officers, Secretary DeVos said she will not micromanage how the funds are spent. She did encourage states to think creatively about technology infrastructure and professional development that will help students learn remotely, including by requiring states to explain if they will use funds for these purposes when they apply. State chiefs have until July 1st to apply, and the department expects to obligate funds to states within 3 business days of receiving a signed certification and agreement. More information, including how much money each state will receive, is available at the link below.
Also on Monday, Secretary DeVos announced a $307 million grant competition authorized by the CARES Act to support states with the highest coronavirus burden. This department has allocated $180 million for what is dubbed Rethink K-12 School Models grants and $127.5 million for Reimagine Workforce Preparation grants. State education agencies can apply for a Rethink K-12 School Models grant in 3 categories aligned with Secretary DeVos' priorities. First, microgrants for families to ensure access to technology. Second, statewide virtual learning and course access programs. And third, new models for providing remote education. Grants are expected to range from $5 to $20 million. The announcement was met with controversy, especially from those who believe microgrants are a form of school vouchers. Parents could use the payments they receive, for example, to cover tuition costs for online education programs offered by private organizations. Unsurprisingly, some Democrats in Congress were quick to criticize the program as a misuse of CARES Act funds. Representative Rosa DeLauro, who chairs the House Appropriations Subcommittee that oversees education, rebuked the Secretary's plan to fund, quote, divisive, ideologically driven policy priorities, including voucher-like proposals, end quote. The Reimagine Workforce Preparation Funds are designed to support state efforts to expand short-term post-secondary education programs and work-based learning opportunities to help Americans return to work but specific priorities for funding have not yet been announced. Applications packages for these competitions will be available within 2 weeks, and applicants will have 60 days to apply. More information is available at the link below.
Finally, while the department has been busy rolling out education stabilization funds from the CARES Act, a group of House Democrats is raising concerns about completion of the free application for federal student aid, or FAFSA, during the coronavirus pandemic. In a letter led by Representatives Lloyd Doggett and Connor Lamb, lawmakers asked Secretary DeVos for more FAFSA guidance for students, parents, and financial aid administrators, given students' rapidly shifting financial situations and declining FAFSA completion rates. In particular, the letter asked for an opportunity for students to submit updated financial information, for financial aid officers to get support in using professional judgment to recalculate students' expected family contributions, and for the departments to reinstate a strategy used after the 2008 recession in which the Education and Labor departments partnered to inform recently unemployed individuals of their potential to access federal financial aid. The letter is timely, as the National College Attainment Network found that between March 13th and April 3rd, FAFSA completion rates among high school seniors in the class of 2020 are 2 percentage points lower compared to last year. That means 34,000 fewer students completed the FAFSA by April 3rd. What's more concerning is that the decrease is sharper for students who attend high-poverty high schools. By April 3rd, student FAFSA completions at Title I eligible high schools were 2.6 percentage points behind their totals from the same date last year, compared to just 1.5 percentage points behind for high schools that are not Title I eligible. For more information, see the link below. That's all for today. For an alert when the next Federal Flash is available, email alliance@allfored.org. Stay safe, stay home. Thanks for watching.
Federal Flash is the Alliance for Excellent Education's video series on important developments in education policy in Washington, D.C. Watch online at allfored.org/Federal Flash, subscribe to our YouTube channel, or listen to Federal Flash wherever you get your podcasts.